Nabal was a very rich man. He lived in an area near where David was hiding from King Saul. Nabal owned 3,000 sheep and 1,000 goats. That means he was very rich.
Yes, it is good being me, Nabal, who is very rich and has many, sheep? Yes, many sheep.
One day, during the time of year when sheep had thick coats of wool, Nabal went to a town called Carmel to get his sheep sheared.
Yes. This looks like an excellent city for sheep shearing. Nothing like that next city next door. Terrible shearing.
He brought many servants and shepherds and his family with him. When someone wealthy like Nabal was shearing sheep, it was the custom for him to throw a big party.
There is going to be so much cake, you will not know what to do with yourself.
During Nabal's sheep shearing time, David was in the wilderness nearby. David heard of Nabal's celebration. He knew about Nabal because some of Nabal's shepherds had happened upon David's camp in the countryside and had stayed with them for some time. While Nabal's shepherds were with David's camp, David and his men did not mistreat them or take anything that was theirs. Since it was customary for the people who lived in the area to be invited to the sheep shearing celebration, David decided to send some men to Nabal to ask if he and his men could join the celebration.
I heard there would be cake.
David felt that they should be invited because they had taken care of some of Nabal's shepherds.
We took good care of his men while they were out here.
But Nabal did not welcome David's men. He insulted them. Nabal did not care what David had done for his men because Nabal was a cruel and evil man. David's men went back and told David about Nabal's insult to them all. David was furious.
He said, "What?
How dare Nabal refuse to let him and his men eat at the celebration?" David told 400 of his men to put on their swords, and they headed toward Carmel.
We'll teach him a lesson.
One of Nabal's servants had heard the conversation between David's men and Nabal. He hurried to find Abigail, Nabal's wife. The servant explained to her how good David's men had been to Nabal's servants. He warned Abigail that danger would come to Nabal and all his servants because Nabal refused David's men. Abigail was an honest and smart woman. She considered what she could do to prevent David and his men from killing everyone connected with Nabal. It was clear that her husband had done wrong to David and his men. She knew she had to act quickly.
Well, leave it to me to clean things up.
She also knew that she could not talk to Nabal about it because he was such a hot-tempered man. Abigail decided to meet David and his men herself. She brought a gift with her to make sure David would talk to her. The gift was 200 loaves of bread, 5 sheep, 5 measures of grain, 100 raisin cakes, and 200 fig cakes. Her servants went ahead of her with this gift. When Abigail came to David, she knelt down. She begged David to ignore the unkind things Nabal had said.
Please don't listen to my husband. Honestly, he's just terrible.
She admitted that Nabal was a wicked man and had been wrong to say what he did. She then gave David the gifts of food and asked him to accept them and not seek revenge on Nabal.
Well, thank you. Maybe I should have a second thought about this.
David listened carefully to Abigail. He thanks the Lord for sending Abigail and for her advice, because she had kept him from killing someone in his anger. David accepted her gift and told her to go back home. He would listen to her. He would not kill Nabal and his men. The conflict between Nabal and David was eased by Abigail's kind words and actions. If David had continued on to where Nabal was, there would have been a terrible battle with many men killed. Abigail solved the conflict by acting in kindness toward David and apologizing for her husband's unkindness. God was pleased with Abigail. She avoided conflict in the right way. Many times, when conflict comes in our lives, we try to deal with it in the wrong way. God wants us to keep peace, if it is at all possible.